lucky in teachers. I had a 6th grade teacher. I was put into his classroom because I fought so much and he was a tough guy. And he convinced me that I was smarter than I was tough. I was also handicapped to an extent. I spent 10 and a half years, 11 years in speech therapy. I couldn't speak very well for most of my childhood life. So when I wasn't playing ball or fighting someone, I would be home with my books. And my books were my friends.
American author Walter Dean Myers is best known as a writer of children's books, specifically young adult literature. As the author of more than 110 books, Myers wrote novels, picture books, nonfiction, poetry, essays, instructional books on the process of writing, as well as a memoir. As a celebrated and influential figure, Walter Dean Myers won the Coretta Scott King Award for African American authors 5 times, was a U.S. National Ambassador for Young People's Literature by appointment of the Library of Congress, and served on the Board of Advisors of the Society of Children's Books Writers and Illustrators. He was a recipient of the Margaret Edwards Award from the American Library Association, and for his lifetime contribution as a children's writer, was a nominee for the International Hans Christian Andersen Award. Myers was also a 2-time Newbery honoree, recognized for his outstanding contribution to American literature for children. And with his groundbreaking novel Monster, the first ever winner of the Michael L. Prince Award for Young Adult Literature. On March 15, 2014, Walter Dean Myers wrote his final piece, an essay entitled Where Are the People of Color in Children's Books?, which, along with his son Christopher Myers' essay, The Apartheid of Children's Literature, helped launch the We Need Diverse Books movement. Upon his death on July 1, 2014, the world lost one of the greatest voices of children's literature and one of our strongest advocates.
The best thing that ever happened to me was my mom, my foster mom, who went to the 3rd grade, read to me in the afternoons after she finished her work. She read to me true romance magazines, and I didn't know what was going on, but I liked the idea of being with her and sitting with her. I loved sharing those moments with her. And that gave me the ability to read. By the time I was 5, I could read some of those things to her. That is what made me what I am today.
Walter Dean Myers uncovered his love of literature and poetry at an early age and molded himself into a writer, teacher, artist, and advocate for children everywhere, helping them to discover the power of reading. It is in this spirit that We Need Diverse Books has made its selections for the inaugural Walter Dean Myers Award, the Walter, for Outstanding Children's Literature Young Adult category. A panel of 12 judges reviewed titles published during the 2015 calendar year by diverse authors whose work featured a diverse main character or addressed diversity in a meaningful way. Covering multiple genres, the books reviewed included both fiction and nonfiction. The award's mission is to honor the memory of Walter Dean Myers and his literary heritage, as well as celebrate diversity in teen literature. The winner of the first annual Walter Award 2016 is the young adult novel All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Kiely. Our judges panel has also selected 2 Walter Honor books, Enchanted Air, 2 Cultures, 2 Wings by Margarita Engle, and X, a novel by Ilyasah Shabazz and Kekla Magoon.
Walter Dean Myers inspired me. He gave me permission to be okay with using whatever is most authentic to me on the page.
I always looked up to him and hoped that, one day my books would have the kind of impact and the kind of reach that his work has had.
Walter Dean Myers' books are all inspiring because the characters are honest and the themes are powerful. But the one that influenced me as a writer is his how-to book, Just Right.
Stories, I think, as I've learned from Walter, are not stories about ideas, about grand notions. Stories at their heart are about people. Their stories are about lived experience.
Walter allowed me to be okay with just tapping into my gut, tapping into my intuition, and to believe, to have faith that whatever I put on that page, as long as it's as authentic as I can make it, then it will directly connect with another person's authenticity, another person's truth.
He always made me feel important. He always made me feel special. He always made me feel like my voice mattered and that my contribution to the industry actually meant something.
He says that it's not really how much you know or how smart you are, basically, but how courageous you are, how much of yourself you bring to the page. He says, be brave.
When we were notified that All American Boys had won the Walter, well, honestly, at first, I was shocked. It was a shock. It was.
When I first met Baldwin, I only met him once, and I said, God, what a difference it would have made in my life if I had known what he had gone through. If I had known that at 14, it would have made a huge difference in my life, I think. People of color, and I want to make poor people human beings. I want to include them in my books so that they can look at my books and say, okay, that could be me. And that this guy understands who I am as a full person.